The story of the Buddha. Siddhartha, also known as Gautama, the founder of Buddhism, was born about 2500 years ago. This was a time of rapid change in the lives of the people. Some kings in the Mahajanapadas were growing more powerful day by day, and new cities were developing, and life was changing in the villages as well. Many thinkers were trying to understand these changes in the society. They also wanted to try and find out the true meaning of life. The Buddha belonged to a small jnana known as the Sakya Jnana and was a Kshatriya. When he was a young man, he left the comforts of his home in search of knowledge. He wandered for several years, meeting and holding discussions with other thinkers. He finally decided to find his own path to realization and meditated for days on end under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya in Bihar, where he attained enlightenment. After that, he was known as Buddha or the Wise One. He then went to Sarnath near Varanasi, where he taught for the first time to his disciples. He spent the rest of his life traveling on foot, going from place to place teaching people, till he passed away at Kusinara. The Buddha taught that life is full of suffering and unhappiness. This is caused because we have cravings and desires which often cannot be fulfilled. Sometimes, even if we get what we want, we are not satisfied and want even more, or want other things as well. The Buddha described this as thirst or tanha. He taught that this constant craving could be removed by following moderation in everything. He also taught people to be kind and to respect the life of others, including animals. He believed that the results of our actions, called karma, whether good or bad, affect us both in this life and the next. The Buddha taught in the language of the ordinary people, Prakrit, so that everybody could understand his message. He also encouraged people to think for themselves rather than to simply accept what he said. Upanishads. Around that time that the Buddha was preaching, and perhaps a little earlier, other thinkers also tried to find answers to difficult questions. Some of them wanted to know about life after death. Others wanted to know why sacrifices should be performed. Many of these thinkers felt that there was something permanent in the universe that would last even after death. They described this as the Atma, the individual soul, and the Brahman, or the universal soul. They believed that ultimately both the Atman and the Brahman were one. Many of their ideas were recorded in the Upanishads. These were part of the later Vedic text. Upanishad literally means approaching and sitting near. And the text contained conversations between teacher and students. Often ideas were presented through simple dialogues. Most Upanishadic thinkers were men, especially Brahmins and Rajas. Occasionally, there is mention of women thinkers such as Gargi, who was famous for her learning and participated in debates held in the royal courts. Poor people rarely took part in these discussions. One famous exception was Satyakama Jabala, who was named after his mother, the slave woman Jabali. He had a deep desire to learn about reality, was accepted as a student by a Brahmin teacher named Gautama, and became one of the best known thinkers of the time. Many of the ideas of the Upanishads were later developed by the famous thinker Sankaracharya, and we'll see about him in few more videos to come.